Hippolyta.
I knew it. It was just about that time the show took us on an epic sci-fi adventure, and unexpectedly, Hippolyta was our captain. Or discoverer, as she calls it. What it is, what it do is Captain Informer back in the building again for another episode breakdown of my personal favorite show on TV right now, Lovecraft Country. Guys, we are already on episode 7 titled I Am. Quick question, where exactly is the time going? I'm going to have to savor these last few episodes of this season, but in the meantime, please go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. I do reviews for the show and many others every week, so please don't miss out. So, just wow. Hippolyta finally got her moment in the spotlight, and just like with Ruby, I can only ask myself, why did it take so long? We are led on a multi-dimensional intergalactic quest with her character at the helm, which really gave me a whole lot of A Wrinkle in Time vibes for some reason. Leave a comment below if you caught that same vibe. But before we get deep into her whole psychedelic trip, there were some very noteworthy scenes in here that deserve a bit more attention than I feel like they received. First and foremost, the big reveal to Atticus that his father, Montrose, is gay. On their way to inform him about the lead they just got on the Book of Names, Atticus and Letty stumble in on Montrose's boyfriend, Sammy, leaving his apartment. The scene is incredibly tense and emotional, and on top of the shock, Atticus is met with so much betrayal and revulsion. We already understand that Atticus has worked through a lot of trauma regarding his father and how he used to beat him as a child, but he finally puts together the fact that his beatings often came from his own father's insecurities and projections onto him. I don't know, I feel like that scene was just super powerful for me, and it really opens up a conversation that we need to have more about parents projecting onto their own kids and the generational trauma it can cause. We get a couple good scenes with Letty and Ruby as well, and while we don't see how things end between her and Christina, it's nice to see that the two sisters are back on speaking terms. They're babysitting Dee while Hippolyta goes off on her solo mission to the observatory, which she neglects to tell anyone about. However, we get a huge reveal that is quickly glossed over that Letty is in fact pregnant, which can only mean one thing. That's right, Tick's pull-out game is trash. Got it! Anyway, with the key Hippolyta recovers from the orrery, she gains access to this observatory in Mayfield, Kansas. She stumbles upon this time machine or dimension-splitting apparatus, if you will. Whatever it's called, she gains access to it and is met by Atticus after two cops come and try to stop her. After a quick tussle with the officers, Hippolyta even shoots one of them. They're both sucked into this portal, but we only get to see things from Hippolyta's perspective. She wakes up in the nude on what appears to be some kind of spacecraft and comes face to face with the female Afro-punk version of, I don't know, Space Beyonce? Hippolyta's journey of self-discovery finds her spending time as a burlesque dancer with Josephine Baker's troupe in Paris, engaging in sword combat against Confederate soldiers as a skilled warrior, and finally returning to the first scene where we all met her with Uncle George, which, may I add, just made me more sad he was killed off so early. Uncle George is the man. But this scene really gave a voice to Hippolyta's character, who for the majority of the series didn't really have one. In the scene with Uncle George, she tells him, "When I was a kid, I thought it was big enough to have every right to name something out of this world. And then I just started shrinking myself," which sounded like she was putting a lot of onus on Uncle George for why she feels unfulfilled in life or unhappy, which kind of sounded unfair, but then again, we know so little about their relationship. And it just came off a bit confusing to me because this whole voyage started because Hippolyta seemed to have wanted answers or at least closure on George's death. However, it just ends up being about her rediscovering about who she really is. In her final destination as Hippolyta the Discoverer, she almost grapples with the thought of staying in this dimension, but ends up going back so she can be a mother to Dee. This was another great departure in the show and gave rise to yet another great performance by the actress that plays Hippolyta, but since her character doesn't really play a component in the main narrative, I hope they find a way to weave her in somehow. Otherwise, this was great. and I hope we somehow get an Uncle George episode because I feel like he still has a whole lot he can offer to the show. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, but please leave me your thoughts on this episode in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it, and I'll see you all in my next one. Peace!